Summer in Blackwood Creek, Texas, always begins with a sticky heat that clings to the mucous membranes. But more foul than the heat was the stench of rotten memories rising from beneath the earth. To 17-year-old me, Leah, this town was not a mere residence, but a massive spiritual sepulcher. That day, at the grocery store counter, I saw Old Man James. Though he was said to have died of a heart attack a month ago, he was, in fact, still lingering there. The chains of causality wrapped tightly around his body writhed like living organisms, anchoring his soul to the earth. James was scouring the floor, desperately searching for something, and soundless screams erupted from his lips, piercing my eardrums. Mr. James, the letter fell into the gap under the counter. The moment that short sentence sliced through the air, a bizarre rupturing sound echoed. All eyes in the store turned toward me. When the clerk found the unsent letter under the counter, the look in people's eyes shifted from wonder to an unspeakable terror. I realized then, my voice was not a hand that untied knots, but a reaper's blade that severed causality itself. When I returned home, the scent of white conifers lit by my mother, Elizabeth, filled the entire house. My brown eyes were now stained with a deep, transparent blue that pierced through the veil of death. Since I was very young, Grandma Grace told me the history of our family. The blood contract Sarah Blackwood made with the forest spirits in the 18th century, after losing her children to famine and cold and losing her mind. That desperate beginning, where she protected her family in exchange for offering herself as a vessel to contain the screams of the dead. But our family's vessel was not a holy blessing. It was a suspended punishment, bearing the curses and pain that others should have paid. The debt never disappears. That warning the forest spirits left for Sarah had weighed down our family for centuries. The day a whisperer could no longer endure the weight or the vessel shattered, all the peace the village had enjoyed would return to its original owners and tear their souls apart. Grandma Grace threw everything away and hid in the church after the Silver Forest incident in 1984. It was because her arrogance as a medium led to the sacrifice of Aunt Sophia. My mother, Elizabeth, was the last survivor of the Northern Slayers, the St. Clair family. Whenever I screamed while seeing phantoms, my mother would slice the air with a cold silver dagger and mutter unknown incantations. After my mother's sudden passing, I decided to reject all my powers. After the grocery store incident, the town fractured in a bizarre way. Some offered mad reverence, piling offerings at my door to beg for a word with the dead. Others cursed me as the devil's bride, scattering salt where I walked to wash away the impurity. Between their worship and their loathing, the human Leah ceased to exist. I was merely a cold relic for their desires, or an omen to isolate their fears. From that day on, my daily life turned into hell. Every night, bizarre patterns flickered on the ceiling as if alive, and the stench of rotting corpses and cold whispers vibrated in the empty room. The dusty attic was filled with the silence of the dead. A silver dagger engraved with the crest of the Northern St. Clair family. The moment the cold, sharp texture of the metal touched my fingertips, the surrounding air twisted with a scream, and space-time became a massive vortex, hurling me back to that day 10 years ago. In the vision, I was a 7-year-old child. My father, in his younger years, rushed toward me holding the silver coin of silence. He placed his hand on my chest, attempting to seal that rampaging spiritual conduit. But within my body, a silver storm was raging. The sharp sword, forged by the blood of St. Clair, ruthlessly pierced through the fragile vessel of the seal, which the Blackwood blood had forced together from the inside out. With a flash, the silver coin exploded into nothingness. The spiritual backflow struck my father's chest. With a painful scream, the vision shattered, and I collapsed onto the cold attic floor. Standing in the doorway, my father silently unbuttoned his shirt. "You are not merely a descendant of mediums. You are, in yourself, a spiritual bomb." That scar, vividly etched on his chest. A spiritual burn earned while trying to protect me. In the mirror, I grew thinner, and my eyes turned into a black abyss, devoid of life. As the blackwood vessel within me swelled, absorbing curses, the St. Clair sword thrashed even more violently to shatter that vessel. I was becoming the omen of a massive catastrophe that would collapse the 200-year history of Blackwood Creek in an instant. Through TVs and radios, the pale faces and resentful screams of those who starved to death 200 years ago poured out through the static. On the second day, water, the source of life, was corrupted. Black sludge mixed with the rotten discharge of the dead poured from the faucets, and livestock that drank it died, madly tearing at their own flesh. And on the final day, when the black frost of -30 degrees struck the village under the scorching August sun, the townspeople finally came to me. Those who until a few days ago called me a witch, and threw salt on my footprints, were now bowing their heads in my yard, groveling for their lives. In their eyes, the human named Leah did not exist. There was only a holy relic that could clear away their misfortune. I decided to become a monster myself. I stared at myself in the mirror. I will stop their screams. The black, sticky fog that had engulfed the village, crushing all life, screamed as it rushed toward me. Where the curse had vanished, a solid spiritual barrier was once again erected. A look of abject relief appeared on the faces of those who had persecuted me. Seeing my weakened state, the villagers fell further into madness. They lied, saying they had built a shrine for me. But inside, they brutally slaughtered the village's lambs and sprayed their blood on the altar. Inside the shrine, reeking of blood, they forced salvation upon me. "If you are a saint, shouldn't you save us?" I realized at that moment. There were no longer any humans left here for me to protect. Before leaving the town, I headed to the ancient oak altar in the forest, where the first Sarah Blackwood had made her oath. There, the blood contract that had suspended the town's debt for centuries floated in the air, emitting a bizarre radiance. It is time for the original owners to pay back what was borrowed. As the contract scattered into dust, the suppressed resentment of thousands of dead souls became a storm, surging back toward the village. The village children became old men overnight, their skin turning thin as paper. The village flames turned a heatless blue, freezing their veins. It was not a tragedy, but a natural settlement of returning what was borrowed. My eyes had now lost their human light, rotating strangely like the nebulae of a galaxy. The human emotions that once surged in my chest had now scattered like cold, dead ashes. I was not merely a descendant of two families. I was the ancient divinity itself, manifested after centuries to settle Sarah Blackwood's oath. The end of Blackwood Creek was but a brief overture compared to the myth of mine that was about to begin. I am no longer Leah. I am Providence. I am Judgment. I am the end and the beginning.